Today I choose to follow you.
Good morning, it's Monday the 28th of November, and this is Coffee with God. Trust that you had a good weekend and you're ready to start off this new week. If you have your Bibles, turn to Luke chapter 17, and I'm going to share with you from verse 1, but I want to focus on verse 5. So Luke 17, verse 5. Lucas 17, verse 5. Now, yesterday, the 27th, was 4 Sundays up to Christmas, so it's the start of Advent. And Advent is the time when we turn and we remember and focus on the coming of the light of the world into the world, Jesus Christ. And so for the next 4 Sundays, and the days intervening, we tend to focus on thinking about Christmas and the fact that Jesus Christ took on flesh, became Emmanuel, God with us. And we know that he came in order to die. And I want to pick up a little bit on that theme, because just last night I was chatting to somebody and they said that they've been hurt in a church and they're looking to move to another church. And their comment to me made me think of this, but at least they move into another church, they said. They're not just leaving the church because they got hurt in that one church. They're just looking for another place where they feel they can fit in. And I said to him in the conversation, I just said, can you tell me where Jesus is now that he's risen and resurrected? And he said, yeah, he's gone to heaven. I said, and what's his job in heaven? He says, no, he's in the presence of God. And I said, yes. And the Bible tells us that he's seated on the right-hand side of God, interceding on our behalf. In other words, speaking to God about us. And then I said to him, you know what's so amazing? I'm so glad. Jesus didn't leave the church. Jesus didn't leave mankind after they tortured, crucified, and killed him. He got so hurt by those he came to seek and to save. And yet, he's still in heaven, still in the presence of God, interceding on our behalf, where we find it so difficult. Now, with that in mind, Jesus says in Luke 17, he said to his disciples, it's impossible that no offenses should come, but woe to him through whom they do come. It would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones, talking about offending children. Take heed to yourselves. If your brother sins against you, rebuke him, and if he repents, forgive him. And if he sins against you 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day returns to you saying, I repent, you shall forgive him. Now that's awesome. That's quite a challenge. That's incredibly demanding of a person, that if they're going to sin against you 7 times in a day, and 7 times they come to you and say, please, I'm so sorry, I realize now what I did, you have to forgive them. I love the disciples' response. And the apostles said to the Lord, increase our faith. Now, I hope you find that funny, because I do. In response to Jesus now challenging these guys, and Jesus challenging you and me today, and he says, have an attitude of forgiveness there where people hurt you, where offenses are taken, and it's woe to the person who offends. But our job in this whole thing is to forgive those who ask us to forgive them. And the disciples say, Lord, increase our faith. It's not like, well, what if he does the same thing 7 times? What if it's of a serious nature? They don't argue. They just look at Jesus and they say, you want us to do that? Lord, increase our faith. And I think that's an amazing response that you and I can take with us into this week. And it's the end of the year, and people are getting on one another's nerves, and people are saying things and doing things. Jong, die mensdom klem op die dom, hak nou behoorlik uit. Mense is besig om net oor hulle self te dink, hulle kry hulle self so jammer, hulle so moeg, hulle so uitgeput, hulle is gedaan, en die jaar was nou net seker 1 maand te lank weer. En so mense wat moeg en wat seer het, maak ander mense seer. Partykeer weet hulle nie as dat hulle dit doen, maar partykeer is dit net intentioneel, want hulle Hulle het hierdie self-focus, wat sê, ag, weet jy, ek het die reg om dit nou te sê, op so 'n manier. En dan sê die Here vir ons, jy moet vergewe, jy moet vergewe, jy moet vergewe, jy moet vergewe, jy moet vergewe. En die antwoord van die disippels is so menslik. Dis so Sean daai. Here, as jy wil hê ek het moet doen, dan sal jy my meer geloof moet gee. Versterk my in my geloof. En dis die uitdaging vir hierdie week. Kom ons vra die Here, daar waar ons weet die Here wil hê, ons moet op so 'n manier optree. Maar in die vlees is ons besig om daarmee te sukkel en te stoei. Dan vra maar die Here, laat hy jou meer geloof gee. May the Lord give you more faith. Lord, increase our faith. And may you take that with you into this week as we look at Jesus' coming. And have a wonderful, wonderful Monday and rest of the week, Lord willing.